Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're doing well. So, Ron DeSantis is insulting Muslims. He's coming out as wanting to capture that audience because there's a lot of Zion money coming in that wants to demonize people who don't support genocide, who feel for the amputee children. They want to control TikTok. They want to control everything, which they are doing. And Laura Loomer is part of that movement, right? So we have to contextualize who she is. So what is she getting at here by replying to Ron DeSantis' anti-Muslim tweet? She thinks that Islam is only a threat, and she wants Republicans to treat Muslims, American citizens especially, who are reverts to Islam, as threats. So someone like me, let's say me and my children at the park, she wants some jackboot to look at me as a threat. I'm not doing nothing wrong, just with my kids. She wants us to be enemy number one. She wants us to be pistol whipped, to be dragged to a Gestapo site, and to not be treated well. You don't treat threats lightly. That's the thing. She knows what kind of rhetoric she's picking to evoke certain images within the brain of her listeners and those who read these posts. That's why it's important to dissect it, to analyze it, to tear it apart, and to, make her look like what she is, which is an unhinged, fanatical, paranoid, and delusional woman. She says it's the biggest threat to our country along with the CCP, so the Communist Party of China. So she thinks Islam is the biggest threat to the country, not pollution. America has the highest rate of incarcerated women. Now, if you type it in on Google, you have the word incarcerated, jailed, locked up. You got to play with it because they're getting censorious with the truth. Not surprised. But I've shared that screenshot before. So American women are committing crimes at a high rate. You have fatherlessness. You have, in 2023, over 1 million abortions. You have men being dejected, becoming nihilistic and not wanting to date. And they're absorbing themselves into the video game matrix and not really wanting to participate in society. You have people addicted to fentanyl out there and about, not doing good. You have homelessness and mental illness becoming worse. That, to me, is more of a threat to a country. How can a country sustain itself if the people are so sick from the culture that they feel like they have to induce themselves into this drug-addicted coma and then roam about like zombies on the street? It is really strange. That is a threat. That the population is becoming more mentally ill as time goes on. Record-breaking numbers of women on SSRIs. 1 out of every 10 boys, was it? It's getting out to be a higher ratio of boys born with autism. And they're on the more extreme spectrum of autism where they wear diapers and they're nonverbal and they're struggling. And parents not having proper health care to deal with this and the proper support. Dementia increasing, Alzheimer's, cancer rates. Loomer doesn't want to focus on things that'll benefit humanity. She just wants to persecute Muslims. That's her top mission. She wants to be the #1 MAGA cult member. Trump could take a fat dump on her head and she would say thank you and then probably post a selfie of it. That's how fanatical and strange she is. If she ever gets married, I couldn't imagine how her husband wouldn't find that relationship she has with Trump to be satanic and creepy and inappropriate, to be quite honest with you. Now, what is she getting at here? She's getting at the Uyghur Muslims. The Uyghur Muslims. And she mentions built camps. Now, she says China literally has zero tolerance for Islam. Now, She just said that the Chinese Communist Party is a threat to America, but she's really excited with the camps they built. Now, the irony here is palpable. A J talking about camps, wanting to put Muslim in camps. Can we get more saucy? If we were to say the same thing to her, what would she do to us? You're anti-Semitic. The thing with Laura Loomer is, she wants free speech for her, but she doesn't want it for anyone else. She wants to say the most vitriolic rhetoric while turning around and policing everyone else's speech. Fascinating, isn't it? She calls everyone a jihadist. But look how she declares war on literally everyone who won't agree with her on even the smallest of issues. The fact that she's talking about camps and then threat of Muslims and then hinting at the Chinese shows you what's she getting at here. She wants Trump, aka the federal government, to round up Muslims, oppress them, interrogate them, make us afraid to cover our hair. Okay? She wants us to live in fear, to have fear be the main aspect of our identity. Okay? And then she complains that Muslims don't like her, that people see her as an unhinged lunatic. She complains about being censored. She's besties with Valentina Gomez, who took a flamethrower and torched a Quran. She's a provocateur from Colombia, cartel land. Mrs. Escobar should be her name. So she teams up with very gangsterish, thuggish women who don't embody biblical values. I've done some videos on Valentina Gomez. You should check those out. But she wants everyone to be cordial to her tribe. So special rules for her and different rules for everyone else. She doesn't have to obey the rules that she puts on everyone else. She's not fit to lead men. She's not fit to lead women. She has no motherly bone in her body. She, if you look up her and Milo Yiannopoulos, he was in a bathtub with pig blood, which was what people said it was, and doing this strange occultic photo shoot. That's really peculiar. Why would you do such a thing? Why would you, as a spiritual person, do any type of photo shoot with fake blood or real blood? What are you trying to get at? Very psychotic behavior. Okay? She wants power. She wants relevance. She wants people to value her opinion. She doesn't serve a man. She doesn't serve her husband. She don't have one. She's not fostering children on happiness and joy. She's literally trying to make it hard for Muslim little girls to simply wear the hijab to school and be happy and content, not bothering nobody. She wants life to be harder. It's absolutely horrendous that she's trying to create such a dystopian nightmare for Muslims on American soil. Us Muslims who are American reverts are born and bred here. She wants us to be targeted based on a religious test. That doesn't make sense. When it was a J who said America is a melting pot. Isn't that some sweet irony? So, she wants tolerance for her views, but she wants everyone else who won't identify her with her lunacy to be seen as a threat. Again, it's important for us Muslims to stay up to date. And Loomer is close with Trump, and Muslims should have never voted for Trump. I'm saying it. I know some people will get mad. But he keeps company with some very insane, unhinged individuals. He doesn't deserve our vote. He doesn't deserve our support. And his red hat should not be seen as anything but a threat. Because look at those. She's one of the biggest MAGA supporters. She's like the cheerleader for MAGA. And she purity tests everyone. She deleted her tweets about Charlie Kirk where she criticized him and said he's not real MAGA. And then when he was assassinated, she deleted them quick, and I shared those tweets of hers in the Charlie Kirk archive videos. And you will see people post them in the replies to her tweets, and then she quickly blocks them, trying to erase her rhetoric record. But again, she's very opportunistic. She is always saying that there's going to be a doomsday, the sky is falling, the world is ending. She's never happy. She's completely unhinged. She's not even allowed to own a firearm because she was committed to a mental facility involuntarily twice by her father. Okay? So she's not even allowed to own a weapon because of her mental derangement. And she doesn't have control over her mental fortitude. And yet she's trying to spread her schizophrenia to everyone else in society and make you think that some old man who's a Muslim and is going to the masjid to pray is a threat to you and your family. Not BlackRock, not corrupt politicians, not cancer rates, not pollution, not any type of white gang or gangs in general. No. It's just people who don't want to eat pork, don't want to use drugs because Islam commands us to be sober, women who dress modest, and men who have beards. And they give zakah, they go to Hajj, okay, they believe God is one, they don't worship idols, we don't commit shirk with idols, just going about our daily lives. She finds us to be a threat. But she doesn't think she's threatening. She has a deep sense of self-delusion and mental illness. She should be medicated and she should be pushed aside. The fact that men spend time listening to this deranged woman who no man has wifed up, whose womb has not suffered the pain of childbirth, where you get more mature usually after you have children and your perception of the universe changes once you have children, because your motherly nature comes out and says, I want to protect this child. She's a warmonger who will not have any of her kids sacrificed in war. She wants your kids to go die fighting Iran. She wants your kids to harm an innocent Muslim walking down the street because she told him, that person's a threat to you, that person's a threat to you. That person's a threat, a threat, a threat, a threat. She's trying to goad you, she's trying to instigate, she's a provocateur. She's not peaceful, she's not harmonious, she's not charming, she's not classy. She's combative, unhinged, deranged. She shouldn't be taken seriously, but Trump has such a low standard of the company he keeps that he has her in the inner circle. Because he cares more about fans than intelligence. If you placate his ego, you'll be in the inner circle. Criticize him ever, you'll be called a panikin, and you'll be ostracized. Which was demonstrated when the Hodge twins were started to be a little critical of Trump. Cat Turd, the second commander of the MAGA cult, let's say, he attacked the Hodge twins. So MAGA has an extreme cult. If you criticize Trump, you're excommunicated, and you make a lot of money being a grifter for MAGA. Tim Pool and Stykes Exenhammer, they did this. They're liberals. They're atheists. When they'll say, like, oh, I'm a libertarian now, but really, they're actually liberals when you look at their policies, which they rarely talk about, and they shill to MAGA Christians and get money. So MAGA is the money train. It's the gravy train right now. And so no one wants to lose their gravy train. So they don't want to get on the bad hairs of someone like Loomer, because Loomer will destroy, or at least attempt to destroy you, if you don't do what MAGA says. So it's not really about the founding fathers. It's not about the Constitution or the Bill of Rights, because Trump is not obeying that. Okay? It's about him, his cult of personality. Loomer serves Trump like an idol, like a deity. And she shouldn't be taken serious by anyone with honor and dignity. She should feel deeply ashamed of herself. And hinting at camps in America when people like Alex Jones were like, females coming. Okay, remember when the lockdowns happened, people were afraid that there would be these really extreme measures taken. Someone like Loomer calling for camps in America and thinking that they'll never house Americans, they'll never be utilized, they'll only be utilized for American Muslims is not true. What is she doing? She's planting a seed. She wants you to get accepting of the idea of camps on American soil. Remember, people can move the goalpost. 1 minute it's a camp for a Muslim. How do you know soon enough it won't be anyone who criticizes her country? Her favorite country. She was born in America, but we know what we're talking about. She's a deranged woman who will move the goalpost. Next it'll be if you were Trump, you get the camp. You won't take the jab, you get the camp. The camps are built. Okay, they're there. They're not just going to put to rot. They're going to say, okay, you know, we're making money by putting people in these camps. Creates jobs. People being tortured, people being harassed, people being oppressed. Well, who else can we put in there? Besides innocent Muslims who've committed no crimes. They just say, La ilaha illallah. They go about their days. Think about it. Loomer is trying to get the American Magatardian Christian to support building camps and rounding up naturalized Muslims and native-born Muslims into those camps. She wants us to be re-educated. Think about it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and guide us. Please like, comment, subscribe. Join the blog.